Cool. We'll go ahead and get started with Jaylon King.
Obviously, it was a tough way your season ended last year. Just kind of how's your recovery been, and what was it like to kind of go through your first kind of real major injury here, and kind of the rehab and the mental aspect of that as well?
Okay. The rehab has been slow, steady progress. It was really weird because I didn't think I had to teach myself how to walk again. So like the first month or so, just trying to walk heel toe, not swing my leg out, things like that. That was kind of weird and challenging, frustrating as well. But after the December break, around mid-January, February, things started picking up. I was able to start jogging, running, and then around the early March area, I was able to start cutting without feeling much pain or as much stiffness around the leg area.
If I can ask, like how did you hurt yourself, and kind of what was the specifics of the injury itself?
It was an injury, or it was an issue that we was watching starting back in the summer. I had stress fractures throughout my leg, so we were just trying to monitor it and try and make it through the season. And unfortunately, during the pit game, I got in an awkward situation, and my tibia ended up fracturing and snapping. A couple pins and then a rod down the leg.
Obviously, you got a chance to watch instead of playing. Kind of, what did you learn from that aspect of it, and kind of how's that competition been in terms of the spring at the safety position?
I learned a lot. Most of the time when you're on the field, you're really worried about your position or your position group, but you get to see the whole D-line work, and then at the same time, I got to see the offense during the games. I watched their plays, see what they were doing good, what they were doing wrong, because like during the game, after you come off the field on defense, you got to go sit down, get corrections, things like that. You can't really go wander to the sideline to go watch offense play. So I got to see both sides of that offense and defense play. And then competition aspect, I mean, it's been good. It's been fun. We go hard out here, but when we get to the meeting room, we always look for different tips, things we can give each other just to get each other better. So, I mean, nothing crazy, just out there competing, having fun.
Curious, Clayton obviously did a really good job in your place, and I'm curious, how did you help him? And also, I'm kind of related, but like, what was your kind of day-to-day like after the injury in terms of, splitting time with rehab versus, being with the team?
So I'll come in early and I'll do my rehab, and then I'll go out to practice to see what installs they have for that week, what the free safety job was for that week, and then I'll sit there and I'll try and coach CP throughout practice. I'll go back and do some more rehab, and then on game days, whether I was on the field or I was someone watching the game, I would watch those possessions and then relay messages that I saw on the field through our defense, whether he was too wide, he was slow in the fit, or things of that nature, or tell him what he did well and keep that up, or trying to disguise something to get the quarterback to try and bait the quarterback to try and get an easy pick or something like that.
How do you feel now? Like, what would you gauge your percentage at, and kind of how's your confidence? How's that? I imagine it's gone up as the spring's gone on.
So, yeah, at first it started out really slow. Haven't really cut or did any DB work before spring started, so it was weird getting back into those drills, those different type of movement patterns, cuts, things of that nature. But as spring went along, I started losing some of the stiffness in my legs, so it's been feeling a lot better. Wouldn't say I'm still 100%, probably 80, but hopefully it'll get back to that 100% mid-summer.
If I can ask Braylon and Andre, the linebacker attorney, kind of what have you seen out of them, and kind of what's your impressions of how they played?
I'll say they have raw talent. They got a nose for the ball, good side-to-side speed, trying to track the ball, things of that nature. I've seen more of Braylon because Dre, he's been battling some issues of his own. So I spent most of the time with Braylon, good player, just trying to learn the scheme. Hard coming in, trying to learn the scheme in 3 weeks.
You've been through a lot of different experiences here. What has Coach Key been like to watching kind of his regime take over, you kind of caught the very beginning of it before he got hurt, and then just kind of what are some differences you've noticed?
I'll say Coach Key's very straightforward. He loves ball. Only thing he cares about is football. So if we're not doing football, he really could care less about what other goes on. He just wants to win and bring this place back to its glory.
Would you say this camp, the spring, has been more physical than the past?
I wouldn't say that. I would say some days will have take more of a toll on you, but there's some days where he knows that we have to protect our bodies. So yeah, I don't know if y'all realize, but we have third periods, or we'll go tag out periods, things of that nature, because he's really trying to focus on body position. So if you're out of position, you can't make a play anyway. So he wants to get that instilled into us, like finish with dominant body position, finish on your keys, and then just work your technique.
Miles, do you have anything? Good. Good. There you go. Wrap up.
All right. You mentioned that you graduated in civil engineering. Kind of, what was it like? What was that like to balance that with football, and kind of what's next for you academically?
It was tough to balance it with football. Once you move up in the ranks in civil engineering, there's less tutors that are available to help you. So you're really just solely on your own, or you have to find study groups within your classes. So that was a learning curve I had to overcome. And then in the future, I plan on starting a master's in the fall in building construction, and then just go from there.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Jaylon.
All right, appreciate it.
So we'll go ahead and get started with Akelo Stone.
You've been getting some really good reviews from your offensive linemen and even coaches and stuff. Just kind of what's been clicking for you this spring?
Just being more focused on and off the field, just taking everything head on, straight forward, and just doing the best I can at everything. I think that helped me become what I'm becoming today.
Tell me about Coach Coleman, what it's been like working with him.
Coach Coleman, Coach Coleman was here my freshman year, so we already had a relationship. But as far as on the field, I like how violent he is. Like he just gets us. He like to use our hands, and last year I wasn't using my hands as much as I'm doing now. So I think that's a big part of how my game improved. So and just violent. Like he's violent. He loved football. He was a D lineman and played at a high level. So it's nothing I can say. I just learned from him. So.
How helpful has it been to have Coach Baker there? That's a guy that's been in the NFL for so long, that's coached that position, to also kind of be a guy that you guys can talk to and get some advice from?
Coach Baker, he also he's beneficial just as much as Coach Coleman. He's coming from a different aspect of football. He's coached on a high level also, the top level. He's smart. He know about the fundamentals, the technique. He just bring a whole nother aspect to the game on top of what Coach Coleman does, which is violent. So I feel like them two together just perfect D-line stuff.
Hey, Kilo, what are you guys hoping to show out this? Is there anything you guys were hoping to show out this Saturday for the Tech game or the scrimmage? Is there anything that you guys, are trying to maybe try out to before the fall? What is the process like of, preparing for a spring game?
I feel like we just gonna come out there. We gonna go out. We gonna try our hardest to perfect our technique, our fundamentals on and off the field. Try to run some games, just get our chemistry together. It's a new D-line coach, and I think that's what we're going to pretty much work on from there.
And how would you say this spring may have been different from years past? Is there anything about this one that stood out?
Not as much, but we just use our hands more, way more. Well, he just emphasized it way more, so I just think that's the biggest difference.
Spring game goes, I think there's been an idea that maybe teams could play other teams of the spring or increase. I'm curious what you would think about that, instead of having spring game to be a scrimmage like facing another school.
I think it'd be fun. Ain't nothing wrong with competition, so that's all I got to say.
I was just curious what you've seen from some of your guys. You have Horace and KJ, and maybe some of the guys who haven't played. Just kind of what you're seeing from them in that room.
Horace, KJ, J-Mo, Shamik, all of them, they just grinding. You know, just trying to get familiar with the technique. It's a new D-line coach. We all trying to get familiar with it. So we just they as a group, we improving day by day. Just trying to focus on one thing to get better on day by day. Horace, KJ, Shamik, all of them, J-Mo, Quan, all of us, we just trying to focus on one thing to get better day by day. So that's how we've been approaching each day.
What time for one or two more for Akelo so you can get to class?
How often do you hear from Coach Key talking about a toughness and the need to be?
Well, Coach Key, before he was head coach, he often would. You could just see it based on his personality, and like once he became head coach, he wanted that to be the identity of the team. So once through the work, you just saw how the way he made us work through the workouts and stuff like that. Like we was gonna get there. So I think that's how he showed us how tough he wanted us to be. Like,
Is it workouts like the winter workouts?
yeah, winter workouts.
What did you see there? What happened?
Like just more weight, just more screening, things of that nature.
You want to wrap this up, Kelly?
Sure. A lot of people don't know there's always things off the field and things like that for guys and growing up and all that. Do you feel like this is sort of your maturation point where you're starting to put it all together and things are falling into place for you?
Yes, sir. But I'm just gonna keep working, just take everything day by day, and just if I do that, hopefully it can become that, and it will end up like that. So that's how I'm picturing.
Awesome. Thanks, Akelo.
Appreciate you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with Sylvain Yondjouen.
What up?
What's up, man? I guess how much of a motivator is it seeing what's going on with Keon and seeing how he blew up last year? And, you were far more productive 2 years ago than, is it exciting seeing that? Does that motivate you?
It shows you that it's possible. Like, I've heard a lot of guys telling me, I want to go to the league and stuff. And, every year, maybe one go, but it's not a close one, like it's somebody else. And now I see Keon getting there and working for it. And it's like, it's right there. It's possible. Just got to work for it. And I've worked with him for a whole year. I've worked with the team also before that. So it's possible. I just be thinking about it all the time, dreaming about it, and just giving everything I got, every practice, every workouts, in the weight room, in the film room, everything. So it's there. I think it's possible. So.
Is there something particularly that you learned from him or that you saw that you've been able to apply or that's been able to motivate you or inspire you in some way?
Keon never give up. I think that's something you could see last year during spring. I think he had the whole cast over his hand and kept playing like it was his life. So I think, and anything I get a little bump or stuff, there's not a reason for me not to be back on the field and keep playing. So I think it's just being focused and really wanting it that makes him getting it. So I'm going to play like that. I'm going to keep thinking like that and work for it, yeah.
I think production's it's not really been an issue for you. You've been productive. You were hurt early on in your career, and then last year you're healthy and very productive playing behind Keon. How do you kind of ramp that up into being a guy that plays maybe twice as many snaps as you did like a year ago?
I think I take every rep as a teaching rep. So I'm going to learn from myself. Every time I watch film from maybe 4 years ago, last year, I can correct myself, and I think it's a good thing that I know what I'm doing wrong, so I know what I got to focus on to get better. I think prediction-wise, I'm going to work to get more than I got last year and the years before. So, yeah.
We were here on Monday, and Coach Coleman was having you do the up-downs as a group, and I think I've seen that before. I'm curious, has he explained to you kind of why he does that and why he's always seems like he's very specific about you didn't do it this part enough or whatever, or so kind of what have you learned from that, or what can you take from that?
I think those up-downs were because some guys false start, so we want to make sure that false start is not something the D-line needs, has to do, so it's not something we do. And doing those up downs is just mentally to get the guys to make them understand that you don't want to do up downs again after practice, because we already went through practice, and all those up downs do not, it makes you work, but it's more mentally than physically, I think. And I mean, I think it's been working because we haven't had anything today or like 2 days ago, so it's good.
Just how, I guess, it's been a long way, right? Like and I see Brandon standing over there watching you, and it's been a long time, and you finally have this bank of football knowledge and stuff. How much do you feel like was like the learning curve of just learning football and to get to where you are now?
It was a lot. I wasn't expecting that it was that much when I got here. And that first year, it was really like figuring out where I was on the field, what my position was. And with the years, it's like understanding what the O-line is doing, what the quarterback is doing, what they're doing over there. But I'll be more focused on recognizing plays on like the offensive wise, so I can play faster. Because I know it was just I'm gonna stay in my gap, but I don't know what's gonna come or where it's gonna go. And now seeing what the tackle does, looking at my keys makes it way easier to follow the game and see where I gotta be. So it was a lot, but it's possible. I mean, it worked out. So yeah.
What is your unit hoping to kind of show during the spring game? Is there anything you guys are trying to show, or is it more of just kind of testing things out?
I think it's really just working, showing that even if it's a spring game between us, we're going to play it like it's an actual game. We've been through 3 weeks of practice straight up, so like those next days are going to be recovering, our body is going to recover, and then on that Saturday, I think everybody's going to be fired up to just go play ball, and that's what we're hoping for. I mean, that's what I'm rooting for.
And is there any difference? I know that this spring football's kind of coming to a conclusion here. Is there any difference you would see from this spring compared to the last few seasons?
I felt better about this spring. I don't know, it was maybe more practices, but also the workouts were focused. I mean, the workouts in the weight room were helping a lot too. So the transition to practice and then into weight room the next day, you could see that you were getting stronger. If I get the film from the first week of spring ball and this week, I can see changes because we're doing all this little stuff after workouts or after practice. We just working on fundamentals and stuff. So it's helping. I think it's been a progress.
Anything else? Good.
I was asking Akelo about this, about how Coach Key has been emphasizing toughness. How have you seen either him or the other coaches, pushing that into you, and maybe what impact have you seen it had so far?
Coach Key really gets into your head. So if you're doing some good, he's not going to tell you. If you're doing some bad, he's going to tell you and make you understand it was bad. And I think he, like the other guy said, he's straightforward. If you're doing some bad, he's going to let you know and be true with you. He's going to tell you the truth. He's not going to go any other way. And I think that makes us as players also better guys, because it's straightforward. Nobody's lying to you on what you can do, what you cannot do. So you know straight what you gotta work on. And I think everybody has been trying to get better, and having Coach Key being there as the head coach and pushing everybody to get their best out. I mean, it's a great thing that we got. So.
I wanted to ask you about ET and just kind of what that competition's like, bringing him into the room, and then obviously Josh as well.
I mean, we're competing to be starting, so it's nice to see, like, during field we can correct each other, like we talk in the locker room, like if something happened or like we went through a bad play, everybody's there to help each other up. But once we get on the field, it's like, all right, I'm gonna work my ass off and I'm gonna get it done, because that's what I'm here for,
Anything else? Ken, you want to wrap this up?
I should know, but I'm guessing there haven't been very many football players in the NFL from Belgium. And I'm curious, kind of what would that mean to you? I mean, I'm sure you want to make it on your own anyway, but like to do that, to be special in that way, what would that mean to you?
It means a lot. It means, I think a lot of kids back home right now already they're texting me about how does it work here, and I think if I can make it up there, it will like open doors for all these kids up there in Belgium or even in Europe, because it's possible after you see it. So like, I'm gonna work for it, make it happen, and it would be great. So yeah.
All right. Thanks, Sylvain.
No problem.